This video is so freaking important. We're going to be talking about people pleasing and in particular over functioning. You know that stuff when you're just doing too much for other people? I'm going to talk about the symptoms to see whether you actually are an over functioning people pleaser, as well as my top tips to claiming your power back. And this is possibly stuff that you haven't heard of. Things like, you know, when you actually say no, it is the first time that you tell someone who you are. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Kate Marie O'Brien and I put out new videos every single week which remind us all to love all of who we are and be ultra freaking unapologetic about that, because who wants to waste their life apologizing for who they are? I don't. And guess what? I did that for way too long, destroyed myself. So this is what these videos are all about, so get subscribed. So first up, let's look at people pleasing. So people pleasing is when your sense of self-worth is in the hands of other people. You rely on them to validate who you are, and you'll do that by doing too much for them, by staying in conversations that you really don't actually want to be in. You will agree with things that probably don't really actually align with you, and you'll be shape-shifting depending on who's actually in front of you. So when we look at people pleasing, and we're actually to look at what is the main personality trait of a people pleaser, it would be nice. Now, Harriet Breaker, who wrote the incredible book, The Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker said, niceness is the psychological armor of the people pleaser. It's really interesting because I know personally, I grew up thinking that niceness was something to really strive for. And yet, in all of that niceness, I lost my voice. I lost my energy, I lost my vitality. I want to talk about a really specific aspect of people pleasing, which is, drumroll, over functioning. Here's the thing about over functioning. Essentially, it's when you're doing too much for other people. Now, on the surface, it can seem really innocent and, here's that word again, nice, quite altruistic even, has a huge impact, and it actually doesn't serve you or them. Let me explain. As an overfunctioner, what you do is you tend to attract in underfunctioners. You also tend to have people around you begin to underfunction as they adapt to you. See, here's the thing. We teach people, we train people how to be around us. And if we're constantly and chronically overdoing, overgiving, and overhelping, we teach people that they don't have to do it for themselves because donning my superwoman cape, I'm going to be there to do it. Now, this has a huge impact on ourselves and on the people around us. And let's start on the impact with ourselves, because this is really, really, really important. What it does for us is that when we are so busy doing other people's work for them, helping other people out, doing stuff for them that primarily as an adult they can, or as a fully functioning human being, they can do it themselves. Our time is congested, our energy is congested, and what that does is it throttles our capacity. It literally starts to throttle the life force energy that we have to express, to create, to freaking be magnificent. And we don't have the time and energy left. One of the biggest things I hear people say is, I don't have the time and energy for that. But when you look at their lives, their time is so congested up with having their hands in other people's stuff, where if they went hands off, which is my favorite saying, then they get to really have the time and space again. They get to create that time and space again, as well as, and this is the impact on people around you when you're doing this, is that other people get to have their own growth as well. And yep, this absolutely includes your children. See, I'm a mum as well. When my kids were really little, yeah, I had to be really hands-on and really do pretty much everything for them when they were really, really little. And then as they've grown over time, what's important is that I continue to step back and allow them to have their own experiences, to have their own opportunities for growth. And if I'm in there over functioning, doing everything for them, taking the responsibility for things, they don't get to have those experiences. So this is true for anyone in your life that you're over-functioning for, whether it's your children, your partner, a friend, a colleague, someone down the road who's asked you to do something for them and you might not even freaking know them. Like, yes, that happens, right? It doesn't serve them if you're doing it for them. So it has a huge impact. Now I want to say this, why do you do it? Why do, as over-functioners, we do this kind of thing? Well, there's a gain. There's a secondary gain for actually doing this. When we are over-functioning, it has us feel needed. It has us feel wanted. It even sets up codependency type relationships where that person then relies on you for certain things. And if you're not feeling fundamentally good underneath, then this can be a real hit of I'm wanted, I'm needed. So there are reasons why we have anything in our lives even when it doesn't work. So we're about to talk about what are the top tips to actually getting your power back. But I want you to know that in getting your power back, it challenges those core identity level patterns of I'm here to do it for you. And then it also challenges the underneath reason that has been fueling this. So a lot of actually what is going on underneath needs to get addressed. So I want you to be aware of that so you can have total compassion for yourself during this process. So here's my top 8 tips to actually getting your power back and frankly, saving your life. Number 1 is get the impact that this has. So because we're creatures of adaptation, we tend to tolerate what we've done for so long and justify our behavior. So you gotta kind of get denumbed. You gotta get present again to, holy crap, this actually has a freaking huge effect on my life. Get present and actually look into your life and see, what is this costing you to do this? This constant saying yes, this inability to say no, this inability to put down a boundary. What is it costing you? Look at your energy, look at your vitality, look at your time. Look everywhere across the board and get really present to what it's actually costing you. Then look at what does it cost the people around you? How are they not getting to know themselves as powerful because you're there doing it all? Get really present to the impact. Realize that you have a choice. So as a people pleaser, it's so easy to think that you just are obligated to say yes to stuff, and then you do. And to actually just pause and step back and go, you know what? I got a choice. I actually give myself permission to say no. Saying no is the first time that you actually tell someone who you are. It's when you draw a line in the sand, you create the boundary and you say, this is me. This is what I'm gonna have. That's not what I'm gonna have. This is what I'm okay with. That's not what I'm okay with. And it's imperative that we can say no. And yet as a people pleaser, it's so freaking hard to say no. It's like the thing that can challenge the balls off you. So number 4 is actually practicing saying no. See, your first no is going to be the hardest. So I invite you to play a game. Maybe take 2 weeks and intentionally say, for the next couple of weeks, I'm intentionally going to build the muscle of my no by, you can create this however the heck you want, saying no more often. So I'm going to practice saying no, and it needs to be a muscle that you build so that whenever you do, you have the option to actually step back and go, do I want to do that? Yes, if you do, and genuinely if you don't, no. But it won't be a reflexive yes, like a knee-jerk yes, because you just haven't practiced any other way of being. My 5th tip is this: notice. Now, noticing might sound super 101, but here's the deal. Most of this stuff is so freaking unconscious and you're so patterned into saying yes that by taking the time to consciously notice how often people are asking you to do stuff for them. Like actually notice, like start paying attention to when you are asked to do something. It starts to have you have a gap. You're wanting to create space. So instead of someone asks, you don't notice, you knee-jerk a yes, you're just knee-jerking into doing stuff for people because you're so unconscious of it and you're not aware of it. I'm thinking so robotic here. You're actually setting the intention to go, I'm going to notice, so that when it comes up, you're going, that's a request. And then number 6 is the pause. So it's like wanting to create space between when they ask, space, so that you can like recalibrate your responses, so that you have the opportunity in that space to actually check in and go, what do I actually want here? Is this what I actually want? How do I feel? Do I feel obliged? Do I feel guilty? Do I feel like pressured to say yes? So in that number 6, to pause, I like to call it the pregnant pause. Thinking about just like it's okay to stop and pause and not answer straight away. So you might even say, thanks for asking, I'll get back to you on that. And practice things that you can say. Or I'm going to have a think about it and I'll let you know tomorrow. Or give me a sec, I'll let you know in a couple of minutes. So practice being able to take space for yourself so that you can actually think. Number 7 is this: screw justifications. Like seriously, you do not need to ever explain your no. And in fact, explaining your no can be counterproductive because it creates opportunities for people to, if they want to, wiggle in and grab hold of what you've said and use it to kind of twist you back around to another yes. So screw justifications. You never have to explain your no. And number 8 is to go really easy on yourself. See, throughout this, what you're doing is you're actually challenging really core patterning that you've done for many years to feel safe. And you're also challenging almost like your core identity with how your identity has been set up. And when you're challenging core patterns and challenging core identity, you start to feel all sorts of feelings, and it's okay. It's part of the process. So go really, really easy on yourself and give yourself lots of praise along the way. So I'd love to hear from you. Pop in the comments below. Either you've been an over-functioner and by listening to this, you're actually going to commit to a certain thing in this area. Write it below to kind of declare your commitment. Or if this is something you've been really working on, what are your top tips to claiming back your power? Pop it below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you benefited at all, please hit the like and share it out. And if you're new to the community here, get subscribed. I put out new videos like this every single week, which remind you to own and love all of who you are, have a backbone, and the lady kahunas to actually back that up. So get subscribed and I'll see you in the next video.